A bullet fired by the security forces becomes a massacre by the security forces. And every act of a terrorist is attributed as a colossal failure of security. Honorable Chief Guest, respected jury members, distinguished audience, and my fellow participants. I, Havildar Overall J. Viajy of Assam Rifle from Northeast Zone, stand before you to speak against the topic that terrorism and militancy in the country can be tackled effectively while observing human rights. Honorable Sir, security of a nation rests on four important pillars. Number one, combat efficiency of the defense forces. Number two, moral, motivation, and effectiveness of police and paramilitary forces. Number three, national security threat perceptions and analysis. Number four, effective functioning, formulation, and implementation of national security strategies at various levels. But today, the present scenario in the world shows that the norms of the human rights have taken over these four pillars and has therefore resulted in its continuous downfall. So, in my opinion, human rights should not be allowed to become a hindrance in the struggle against terrorism. For example, let us talk about America. Just 1 month after the massive terror attack on World Trade Center, the George Bush government imposed a new rigid act known as USA Patriot Act, USA. The full form of USA is not United States of America. Here, the full form of USA is Uniting and Strengthening America by Patriot, Patriot, providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism. With the help of this USA Patriot Act, they gave more power to their law enforcement agencies who maintain law and order in their society. The interesting fact is that there is a code of conduct which have been framed by the UNO for the security forces. According to the Article 2 of this code of conduct, the law enforcement officials shall respect and protect the rights of the people. But this USA Patriot Act violates the basic right of the citizen. Even then, without any discrimination, each and every person was ready to cooperate with the government and security forces for implementing this act. Because they knew and know that the security of the nation, that is utmost important, and also it is the legal duty of the citizen to assist and help the government when the state become in a crisis. But in our country, the Naga People's Movement Pro Human Rights and NSCNIM sponsored human rights organization dared to represent our Honorable Supreme Court to challenge the validity of Armed Forces Special Power Act 1958. After which our Honorable Supreme Court decided to incorporate some do's and don'ts in the implementation of this act. In the state of Assam, there is a PCPIA, People's Committee for Peace Initiative in Assam. It is an overground human rights organization of ULFA. And what are their duties? Number one, make propaganda against the government and security forces. Number two, make a good fertile ground for ULFA. Number three, help ULFA to plant bombs in the streets of Northeast. What does it indicate? It indicates that today in our country, the human rights norms have become a bulletproof jacket for terrorists, militants and Naxalites. From Kanyakumari to Kashmir and Kashmir to Kangab, the last village of Indo-Burma border, today terrorism, militancy, Naxalism has become a low-risk but high-profit business. In this circumstance, how can we say that terrorism and militancy in the country can be tackled effectively while observing human rights? I want to ask the House, how much do the people who procrastinate on TV channels and newspapers about the violations of human rights do actually know about the brutality of cross-border terrorism? Have they ever lost a family member in the defense of the country? Do they know the pain of losing a young son or having a widowed daughter or seeing your children grow up without their father? The death of soldier Rajendra Singh in Kashmir is the live example of stone pelting. At this time, vernacular media, sometimes who are acting as a voice of these anti-social elements, give wide publicity to such issues, showcasing it as the violations of human rights. Why? Because they have the right to association, they have the right to expression, but they do not have the maturity to handle their rights responsibly. This is the naked truth of today. In this circumstance, how can we say that terrorism and militancy in the country can be tackled effectively while observing human rights? So at the end, I would like to conclude with saying that if one wants peace and unity to prevail amongst Indians, firstly, one must fight and win over the forces of darkness. Government must take initiative. If we follow this pattern, I firmly believe that we can open a way for us to harmony and in oneness. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.